So you have a name for yours, Mike?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
They call it the long version.
what did you say it
I'm
was?
calling on that. I said it's kind of a long one
Oh, okay.
because I used to be able to say it, but now I don't.
So you have a name for yours, Mike?
I have to remember what I did before I accidentally put
Yeah, that's a.
it was after I was named it. But I used to be able to say it. It's called the Horseman of Death, and almost like
Oh,
my cheesecake, it would
the Horseman of
I
Death.
don't know if it's a bend, but instead of bending to kind of like that crooked head on the thing that Simpsons like recreated, it would just transform into the reverse height, and then it would
Hmm.
Horseman of Death. That's what
Yeah, I would have to. Now you have. I have two things that I have to really think about. Where would I want to live, and what would my grandpa told be named? Because I like. I mean, usually what well, not everything I watch is period pieces, but like when you think about Demon Slayer, that gives you. It's like a period piece in a sense of like where they live and all that. So I mean, I wouldn't mind living there, but then it's not very modern in certain areas. Um, yeah. So that's why I was like, I would have to think about it.
this next report. South Park decides to pick a side on what they term universal
Oh wait, say it one more time.
So, in the conversation of whether you would watch a sub anime or a sub, pick a side and then tell us why you feel so strong in your side.
Ooh, ooh. So you
Um,
can't. Oh.
I am neutral when it comes to this.
Oh, I was gonna say the same thing.
And the only reason why I say it's mutual when it comes to this, hey, appreciate the sub, appreciate the sub, appreciate the sub. But only reason why I say I'm mutual when it comes to what's the whole sub versus dub conversation, a lot of people feel like just because it's in sub, it's the original, and you get the original dub voice acting, things like that, this, that, blah, 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 and it's supposed to be quote unquote better. Unless you actually are fluent in Japanese or at least know that particular language, a lot of times most people miss out on there can be a bad sub.
Oh,
It can be a
definitely.
bad. There can be bad. There can be a bad sub, and it's not
Yes.
necessarily saying it's bad. It's more so saying certain dubs are better
Mm-hmm.
because, for example, the good perfect example that I always go to when it comes to this conversation is Yu Yu Hakusho. Yes, the sub in Yu Yu Hakusho is great, but the English dub in Yu Yu Hakusho, perfect. I didn't even see certain Japanese people say, "Yeah, go watch the dub version because the dub version hits a little bit better sometimes, or hits a little bit harder for certain scenes." Like even when it comes towards the scene of where Yusuke, the whole funeral scene with Yusuke, like yeah, it hits in Japanese. Don't get me wrong, but the way it hits in the English dub hits harder than
Mm.
it does than it does to me personally when it comes to Japanese. And then you have another instance, which is this most recent anime that I watched. Um, the legendary hero is dead. I'm sorry, hilarious ass anime,
Mm-hmm.
but I watched it. I watched the clip that I saw in both sub and dub. It's funny in sub, but it's hilarious in dub because, of course, there's a scene of where the girl's running out, this, then the third, blah, blah, blah. Of course, the main character is kind of a pervy. He loves some thighs. But, of course, in the sub, he was like, he ran out naked, this, then the third, blah, blah, blah. Sub, he was like, I was chasing my friend who ran out of the streets half naked, and then follows up with, "Girl, what you doing out here without a spoon?" Like, what do you like? Of course, that's gonna be funny because it's like, what? But sometimes there can be certain gems and dubs and vice versa. So that's pretty much all that I can say.
Yeah, I have to agree that I am a person who I wouldn't. I'm like you, neutral. I mean, I guess I straddle the fence. I guess it depends on what I'm looking at, but it doesn't really matter for me. But I will agree with what you were saying that sometimes at one point I was that person who thought, oh, the subs, they're so authentic if I'm watching a subbed version of like an anime, or even like I'm into Asian dramas too. So I watch a lot of Asian dramas. So sometimes I would think like, oh, that's the sub. It's perfect. I mean, it's on point. There, it's accurate. But then when I look at the dub version, I'm like, it's totally opposite of what they're talking about, or it just seems really off. So I mean, I'm either or. I'll take a dub or a sub. I don't mind. And if I really, really like it, especially I know like sometimes with Crunchyroll, because I mean that's what I'm on all the time. They'll have like the next season won't be in English anymore, won't be dubbed, so you have to watch it sub. So that's why I was like, to me, I had to make sure that I was somebody who was versatile. So either one is good for me. Yeah, that's true. Mhm. Oh yeah. Me too. I'm not finished yet though. Mhm. Okay. Mhm. Oh really? No. Well, I've never watched that, so I can't partake in that conversation. Mm. Okay. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Upset that GT is not canon. Only reason why y'all are upset and say that it's quote unquote better, nobody honestly gives me a valid point of outside of the Omega Shenron saga and the Baby saga. What is substantial? Well, in Super Saiyan 4, what is substantial about Dragon Ball GT enough to make it better than Super Saiyan? Nobody can honestly give me that answer.
I
So,
would never, I would never say that. But, but we can say that those three things that you just named are substantial enough to have carried that arc. And while most people will, while we really love the, especially the turnaround for Boo, becoming human,
yeah, that was another plus.
come on, we, everybody, I knew it, and it's, I wanted to see where they would go. Um,
that though. Here's my thing with that though. Like you're totally right with that, but here's my thing with that. That don't happen until close to the end of the series. It's a whole lot of extra shit before that happens. Like it's a whole lot of other stuff that happens before that nobody talks about. When anybody talks about GT, they talk about Super Saiyan 4, the Dragon Saga, you know, with all the dragons pop up, and the Baby Saga. That's all people talk about. Most of those things are closer towards the end of the season where it started to reach its peak. But close to the beginning, nobody talks about this stuff. So it's like you're cutting half of the season. You can't say something is better than something when half of it close towards the end. You know what I mean? Even with, and this is totally off for anime, and even this is totally off for anime. When people talk about Game of Thrones, and I get what people mean. Game of Thrones is amazing until the last 2 seasons.
Oh yeah, definitely. Trash.
It's amazing until the last 2 seasons. Really and truly season 8.
Right.
Really and truly season 8. But but see, you can justify saying it's good due up to that point.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
I guess the hill I would have to die on would be Demon Slayer. I think just the graphics, the cinematography. I've watched every season. Well, I don't know if it's like 3 seasons already, but I've watched them all like 3 or 4 times. So like I could actually go back through it all again and watch it again. That's how good it is to me. So it would be Demon Slayer for me.
I am, and this is a weird, and it's funny because the thumbnail is actually on the screen. But it's funny that when it comes to death, people don't give this particular anime hero a lot of, I don't remember the anime character a lot of firepower when it comes to power, because they don't read the manga. But yeah, I really think you can go toe-to-toe with a lot of people's favorite characters. And again, I'm gonna preface this with the fact that in the manga, he readily was forcefully overtaken by Yami. And I'm talking about this man would literally want to send people to the shadow realm just off of a dice. Think about your most crash out friend. Right? And they lose the dice pack. He's up in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't going. And he's gonna send you to the shadow realm. Especially if he loses. And then the fact that this man that he could bring them off like without doing it. Like talk about it. Him and Yami Marriage actually had the same, they all have the same ability, those that help in Lily Island. And so they don't show it a lot in the English show because they're sensitive. But he actually could, like, they did show, what was it, the guy that held the ring, but they showed the man-eater bug. There we go. During the Duelist Kingdom, he actually made a man-eater bug come alive. And they killed a lot of people in the dark. They don't show it, but you can hear them screaming in the background while giving tricks to run off. And so if the fool could do it, Yami, having been born, he could also do it as well. Even having where Kaiba has the blue eyes like Dragon Hunting rescue a couple times off hard, no virtual simulators left. And nobody talks about it. Again, it's something that we're not talking about. But yes, I mean, Yami could really get down with you if you really wanted. That's what I'm saying.
One thing to add with that though, let's think about the movie, the latest movie that was released. The nigga said nothing when he came in and swung one card, summoned his fucking court magician, and just pointed. And you didn't attack, you did some mystical thing or whatever, and the duel magically ends? Okay. but it's stuff like that though. But yeah, going to your point, that man Pakura was a menace. That man was a menace. he was most definitely was a mid. Like, bro, Record was running around throwing niggas into the shower room just because. Like, yeah, Record, bro, like, oh man, this little bitch was in here, and then he was like, oh, word, this chick in here. Come on, let's do this little shadow game. What's up?
And then the fact that they could do a shadow game off the internet. It didn't matter. Talk about fighting game trick, card trick, dice game, chess, like, and they show it more in Marvel, but really, whatever game they chose to play, and you agreed to it was like playing Attack of the Devil. You don't do, hey, it's over with for you. You don't get right. So that joint was crazy. But this next question is now before y'all answer this question, we are almost ready. You do get recorded. Alright, so you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, I'm saying it without saying it, you know. But this next one is, if you could date any anime character, who would it be and why?
Oh,
Okay, so you want me to put on the list?
Oh, go ahead. Get into it.
this is probably bad because he's a bad guy, but from Bleach it would be Aizen. From Solo Leveling it would be, I don't know his name, but the main character. What's his name?
Jinwoo.
Yes, him. And oh my gosh, I had one more. It just left me. But I have a top three. There's another one. It'll come to me, but those are going to be my top two. Off top.
Number one gonna be the number one waifu herself. They got it all started, and that's Ryoko. Number two is gonna be the girl from Katara from Outlaw Star. From Outlaw Star. Let's see. Trying to see the ones that I can PG put on screen. Give me the mom from Gundam Build Fighters.
I'm not familiar with that one, but
Yeah, Gundam Build Fighters. Let me see what the chat said. The chat says, you know, that's I? I don't know what it is. What that be? What's the chat?
Oh, and then from Jujutsu Kaisen, I like Yuji as well.
Okay, I see you, Matt Bingo. I see you.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I like Satoru too, but in a weird way because of the glasses. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, Fire Force. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like cheating a little bit. I was on my Crunchyroll just looking at what I've been watching. Like, wait, it's somebody else too.
Oh no, that's fair. That's fair. I had to do some research myself too.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I'm cheating. Anyway, sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I ain't gonna go Ichi and
Oh yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna get back to you. I'm definitely gonna get back to you. You got what?
Yeah.
Look, Vegeta's a perfect example of a. But see, here's the thing though about Vegeta. Vegeta does what you're supposed to do in this situation if you date a woman with a bunch of money. He took care of his family. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
Vegeta might have been a bum at the house, just exercising, doing whatever. But best believe anybody mess with his family, especially his wife,
Yeah.
he gonna go off
Mm.
because we have I'm about to say we even got the proof. Like Beerus slapped her, and that nigga went off and literally went off into Beerus like, hey bro, you touched my wife. Nah. So Vegeta technically did what you're supposed to do in that situation. You have a lot of guys that realistically that don't do that. Like they just
Hmm.
you messing with this particular woman with a bunch of money and stuff like that, and you don't actually protect her and do what you're supposed to do. Like, of course, you they might still have their little bummy ways here and there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but eventually he did what he was supposed to do. Like Vegeta learned over time, like, hey, I can't be like this. When it comes to them and whatever they want, I got to make sure I do what I want for my family.
Hmm.
And assume the right character. Oh, okay. We can't hear you,
We
bro.
can't
You
hear you,
muted.
Mike. Oh yeah, I was gonna say I can't hear you, Mike.
Yeah, back to the did and was just at the house. You know what I'm saying? Only got active when it was time to fight and just let himself go. She would have been got rid of him. She got rid of. First off, she got rid of Yamcha, who was a baseball player. People don't talk about this. Yamcha was a baseball player who had money.
Well, no, no, no.
And she saw
He
Vegeta.
Yamcha didn't have money at first. Yamcha didn't really have money like that. Because remember,
He
he
didn't
was
have
limited
money at first.
because he was mooching off of her. But then that's what. Remember they broke up twice. I'm about to say, remember they broke up twice due to Yamcha cheating on her. So
Yeah.
What anime is
He had
this?
four.
Dragon
He had
Ball,
four
Oh,
Dragon
bad.
Ball to Dragon Ball
Four
Z.
bad
okay.
habits.
Yeah, he cheated. Yeah, he cheated on Yamcha, which is partial of the reason why uh she started talking to Vegeta too. Because I mean, at the time they weren't dating anymore. I mean, you know, so
That's true. And she saw Vegeta slap him up, which was like also, oh, come on. He was bound to lose this. Come on, you can't have somebody get in the bag and you out here fucking off on them. You can't.
but then again,
Match.
if we really
So
thinking about it, if we really thinking about it though, Bulma kind of finessed that herself. She had a wet dream about Vegeta.
They did all this in Dragon Ball Z.
Well, she technically had a wet dream about
What?
Vegeta. I'm still trust me. I'm stretching the truth. I'm
Okay,
stretching
I
it.
was like,
But
what?
it's like,
yeah.
but at the same time, they was on Namek. Of course, Vegeta
fucking up Damix, but of course, uh, she had a dream that Vegeta legit pulled. Granted, Team 4 Star made even more a funnier joke of it, but he basically pulled up on her and was just like, "Yeah, I'm taking you for everything that you got. Give me the Dragon Balls." Yeah, and she was scared and she woke up. But I was just like, thinking about it now, I was just like, so she had a little wet dream about him coming up and just taking it. Because if you had a dream about somebody threatening to quote unquote kill you, you then decide to marry them and then have two kids by them. Clearly, clearly that was a wet dream.
Yeah. I never got into that because I always thought it was so cartoony.
I mean, it is. I mean,
that was the only reason.
That's fair.
So I would never have thought all that was going on.
I think it's like it's part of the reason why people cap on it. And look, what people don't even realize, when DBZ first aired, they used to cuss. And it was so funny, I'll never forget, this was a fight between Goku and Vegeta on Namek. And Vegeta actually said, "Damn Kakarot." In the original run of that fight scene, he's like, "Damn it, Kakarot." And my mom was in the kitchen cooking, and she hears and she said, "Did he say damn?" And I said, "Nah, he said damn, you didn't hear it right.
Right.
You weren't really paying attention. That's not what he said." And in my head, I was like, "Dang, what's on TV? But then of course they censored it, and so they didn't do much cursing as years went on. But yeah, they used to have a lot in there. Like they show how Goku lift up Bulma's skirt when they were younger, while she was asleep.
Oh wow!
Scene that everybody kind of remembers. Again, kind of a wild thing.
There's context behind that though. There's very valid context behind that though. There's very valid context behind that though.
I feel very fast because I'm hoping everybody's cold. But yeah, it was a very innocent thing that people kind of ran with. But yeah, so keep going. Which anime is overrated and why does it get too much credit? Now, of course, I know the obvious one that people don't say. It's on my shirt. I've heard it 1,000 times, though I think it earned it. We're not going to get to that one. So you got to name me a different anime.
It's overrated?
And gets too much credit.
Let me see. I'm doing some research, but because I feel like there's one on here that I've looked at where I was like,
we're going to let Drew go because I can see it on his face.
Yeah, Drew, you go first.
I know you got it. I know you got on two.
No, because if I'm honest, because this is what it is. I feel like the anime I feel like this with is only with the first season. As it progresses, I cut back on how I felt about that a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Which one is it?
Demon Slayer.
I'm getting off.
Okay.
Only reason why I said that. Hold on. The only reason why I said that.
I'm just playing.
Is because no, you're good. But the only reason why I said that is because the story has been done umpteen times over with basic characters. If you look at it as a whole, the whole somebody murdered my family, so I have to go after this one particular person that murdered my family. Okay. It might not have been a main plot within the show, but it's also that particular character's motive. You got Sasuke.
Okay, yeah.
Who else? You got like it's different ones. So of course, like I said, over time of me watching it, I cut back on that because what really made me
right.
The Entertainment District arc.
You didn't like that one?
No, I love that. That's really what made me
that's what made you change your mind. Okay.
That's what really, because I was like, okay, y'all doing y'all thing over here. I bet I cut back my slack. But that's just honestly how I felt. If we're really being
You
honest,
know,
One Piece. But
Oh, that was what I was gonna say. Oh, and it has 1,000 seasons. It's like Bleach. My nephew has been trying to get me to watch that. She was like, I mean, he's like, Auntie, it's good.
Jordan, what?
people don't give, what people don't really quantify with One Piece is that, like, bro, this thing has been running since the 90s. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of, come on.
Yeah, because people don't understand. Because people don't understand where Dragon Ball Z comes from.
It'd be on that level of too cartoony. Like I'm still on season 1, like episode 3.
Well, it's not even necessarily reading because Dragon Ball Z is more so a continuation of Dragon Ball. And of course, nobody's going to actually redo or touch Dragon Ball because that, I mean, especially since Akira Toriyama's no longer here. But, that Z branch is basically the continuation of Goku's story. And of course, most of us grew up off of Z or saw clips of Z here and there from a distance, so it's immediately automatically assumed with certain stuff. Because Dragon Ball had its own animation and pacing format that it technically got carried over towards Z, and of course you can even tell now, even in Super, they kind of realize, hey, we can't do the same bullshit how we was doing, showing 5 episodes of niggas just staring at each other charging. So like, we can't do that no more. So now they're realizing Daima especially is where they show, hey, we can actually give you decent fights in each episode if we choose to do so. Daima, lovely. It's a beautiful rendition to, they said that was the last thing Akira Toriyama honestly had his hands on, and I can tell it. It's great. It's great how the story pacing, because it has that perfect mix of kind of a Dragon Ball feel to it, along with incorporating Z tactics and stuff like that too. So it's perfect at giving that both a mix of both worlds, which is why Diamond is actually so good. I mean, of course, a lot of people gonna get upset about the results and stuff like that, but you get over that. But it's just.
Yeah, so I have to piggyback off of Drew. I was gonna say One Piece.
I'm gonna go back to Demon Slayer, where I love One Piece. And that's fair. That's fair. I'm gonna go back to Demon Slayer because I love Demon Slayer. I love it, but they was getting pressed by Smooth Criminal. Like, that was living out a Michael Jackson song. Like, you getting pressed.
Oh man,
this motherfucker might as well be moonwalking in the season. You know what I'm saying? Every time he walks, it's just like, yeah. And then he didn't know if he wanted to be a kid, if he wanted to be a woman. He didn't know.
That's funny. That is too funny.
New flavors every day.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'll partially agree with you guys.
God, like your whole thing. But I will say though, the thought process of the upper demons was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of bringing in like a Dante's Inferno type of thought process to the villains. But yeah, but I was thinking about the setup for it. I'm like, yeah, this was just one big menace, pressing kids. He was out here pressing children.
Yeah, I mean, you have a point.
It was just teenagers helping mold younger kids into fighters. Like,
yeah, that is true when you think about it. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have a point.
They had one older kid, who was like 21, that rolled around with twins and couldn't see shit.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So
the master. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Chat got a question. Chat got a question. It says, it's from our good old buddy Jordan. It says 90s anime versus current anime. Which had the better storytelling?
Oh wait,
and go ahead. You got it.
No, I was going to say, what I said was, I feel like it's kind of a mix now, and it honestly depends on for me, because of course, pacing when it came to 90s animes. Of course, you had to get a lot of stuff to kind of grasp your attention a little bit, so more thought into the story a little bit had to be kind of a little bit more thought. Now there's a lot of new anime that comes out now that I I just said this the other day. Matter of fact, it's an anime that popped up that I seen that basically this is like the fourth anime I've seen like this, where you got kicked from the heroes party, where they thought you wouldn't shit, but then come to find out your powers was actually the shit, and then therefore you find out through the beginning. Like there's
There's
like
been a lot
six
of those
like
coming
that.
out. Yeah, like
It's
Shield
like
Hero.
six like that.
Yeah, Shield Heroes like that. Solo Leveling is like that. Oh yeah. So I mean, yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
So that's what I mean when it comes to that. But y'all,
But wait, the question was, can you say?
90s.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got you. The question was 90s anime versus current anime, which
Okay.
had the better storytelling? Which one had the better storytelling?
I mean, not to cut Mike off, but you guys, I didn't watch really any 90s anime. To be honest, I guess I'm more of a new age. I mean, I don't remember when Bleach came out, but I started anime later. So I wasn't watching like the Dragon Ball Z's and all that kind of stuff. But from the way you guys are speaking, maybe I'll give it a try to the best of my ability and see. So to me, I would say new age, but that's just me because I don't really know about anything that was in the 90s. I wasn't watching anime back then at all.
No, that's
Period.
fair. That's fair. That's fair. Honestly, a few years before my mom passed,
I'm sorry.
I had a bunch of it's okay. But I had the whole Yu Yu Hakusho collection. And Yu Yu Hakusho is basically I want to say an 80s anime actually.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay.
but she just cut it. Well, my brother had it playing on the TV one day, and she just started watching it. Of course, that's when I came in, seeing her watching the Dark Tournament, and she was like, "Yeah, the rest of the DVDs and stuff like that. What you in here watching the Dark Tournament?" So, but a lot of it's fine to get into it. A lot of the '90s animes a little bit later. Like a good example of Cowboy Bebop is they're legit 12 Quentin Tarantino's different movies put into
I'm
one season.
I'm still trying to get into that. That one and it's
I like
another one. Cowboy
Will-
Bebop
Will
and
Witch
another
Hunter
guy.
compete with that one.
He has blonde hair. Lethal. He has blonde hair in his anime. I can't think of it, but he does a gun too.
Trigun?
Trigun. That's
Okay. I was
another
just gonna
one.
say that's the iconic one, but
Yeah, I
the
was trying to
blonde
get
hair
it.
was very hard.
I was trying to get into that one too. Okay, I'll be quiet now. But yeah, Mike, you can talk. But I was thinking when you said, I'm like, I've been trying to get into those two too, but it's been off and on.
My boy Vash the Stampede. I mean, that's a go anime for real. People don't give Trigun their flowers for real. That was a tough anime. I don't know. For me, it's definitely one of those ones that, like you said, it's like a mixture. Because not every old school anime had a good storyline. Some of it was just fan service. Some of it was just the fight. Because again, that's what shonen manga and anime were about. Were about things that were going to be important to the male audience, and that's why they separated. So Shoujo had their heroes, and shonen had theirs. So you have some even Shoujo heroes that are just pure hand. It's just we box. You know what I'm saying? Are you stealing my man? I'm stealing your man type shit. Shonen, you have some that are just pure box on their story. So it's a little. It's a little give and take. I'm not gonna crap on the new animes because
Yeah.
there are some tough ones out there. But if I was to give a recommendation for old animes to watch, and these are just 5 animes that I think people should look at. And you got time. You know what I'm saying? Definitely check out. If you haven't watched Yu Yu Hakusho,
Yeah, I gotta put that in my
you need to
list.
go watch that.
You said, what are you doing?
Definitely watch Trigun.
Yeah.
Outlaw Star would be a great one to watch.
Outlaw
Tsukuyomi.
Star.
I would definitely, and then there's one called Baccano.
Baccano.
Baccano. It's about a murderer on the train, and they're trying to figure out who it is that's murdering all these people on the train. Yeah,
Is it gory?
It's set in like this Italian anime style world. Yes, it is.
Oh, I love a
People
good gore.
they on there getting
Okay,
My
good.
wife put
and
me on
they got these
Elfin
weird.
and if you like
Oh,
gore,
that was good. I saw
yeah.
that.
Okay, so you
Mhm.
seen it. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are some good ones. I would start out with kind of ease you into it, especially if you like more serious animes that are not so cartoonish and like so fan service. Because I got one
Mhm.
playing now, and I tried to switch over so that it could play while we were talking. But this one is just pure fan service. If you're gonna watch an anime that's pure fan service, this is the one that people complain about. It's like, oh, anime is all just corny people watching cartoons. And High School of the Dead would definitely be one of those ones that people talk about
High School
being
of the
pure
Dead.
fan service because that's all it is. It has no real storyline except for everybody in the world dead except for these handful of high schoolers, and it's fan service every 10 seconds of the of the episode. So
I got an anime
yeah,
that'll technically beat that.
What?
I know you do. What you got? What you got, man?
Valkyrie Drive.
Why do I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
I've
yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah, yeah.
heard of that name?
For
Yeah,
Christ's sakes,
that'll do it.
the for Christ's sakes, there's the ability. You have a
Valkyrie
pair.
Drive.
One person is the weapon wielder. The other person is the quote unquote weapon or whatever tool that they use. In order for you to become in sync and have to get them to turn into the weapon, she then. I'm sorry, that's technically a hentai at that point. I don't see how they barely
It
made
is.
that, but they basically you have to turn them on. You got to turn them on basically, or basically make them bust a nut right then.
Mm.
That's just basically it. So it's like, oh hey, hold on, we about to fight. Hold on, let me make a nut real quick. We gotta get this over with. Yeah, big large sword. Yeah, let's fight. Huh?
I was gonna. There was another one I was watching
First of
recently.
all, you know how patient you have to be to wait for somebody to do that and then fight. Like, damn, y'all got mad patience in this universe.
First of all, and then they doing it in real quick sequences too. Like, bro, you done
Mhm.
found out how to get this person off that quick. Just turn them into a weapon. I mean, kudos, but
Right.
like, that
Crazy.
seems kind of weird. And
All right.
the building crashing down on you, and then you like, hey, hold on, let me turn you on real quick. But it's kind of hard. It's kind of
Right. Focus on me. And it's like rocks falling all over the place.
fucking.
Nah,
I was watching another thing. Oh, there it is on. I've been watching it on YouTube. Blades of the Guardian.
I hadn't heard of
I
that
don't
one.
know that one.
It's pretty good. It's gory. I mean, thus far, I'm only on that. So I'm still on the season, I guess, 1. But on YouTube when you're watching like anime, sometimes they don't have it broken down with the seasons. It's like you're gonna get 1 through 42 is like 3 hours. You got to break it. It's kind of like that. So I don't really know where I am, but that's been pretty good. But yeah, Blades. I would have to look it up. But it's like Blades of the Guardian. It's been pretty good that I've been watching. But it's not definitely not 90s. Like I just recently, it's probably horrible to say this, but in the past few years, I just recently saw Fist of the North Star. I was gonna say I did see something older, if you want to count that as an anime.
I haven't seen Fist of the North Star.
Oh, you have it? Okay, I've seen that. That was pretty good.
I have.
That
I've
was
seen the
pretty.
clips and I get it and I get the premise,
Yeah.
but it's just certain stuff like it's certain stuff that I know if the pacing is too low, I'm like I'm not finna do this because granted, as much as I love Gundam, I had
Hmm.
to kind of force myself to go through that original Gundam, even though it's funny at certain points.
I love it.
But that pacing, good God,
It's slow.
that pacing,
It was
pace,
it was definitely
that,
bad.
that pacing was
But
terrible.
that's
Oh,
why
okay.
I'm always Endless Waltz was bad. It was bad. Endless Waltz is probably my favorite arc of Gundam. I talk about that all the time. When people mention Gundam, talk about mech animes, I'm like, Endless Waltz was tough.
It's crazy though
He
when
had
you get
lead
into the
character. I
Gundam
had
world.
Persian.
My bad.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, it gets deep. It gets deep. All right. So, what's the anime character y'all think got done wrong by the writer?
Number one is Vegeta.
Got done wrong by
Toriyama,
the rival.
Yeah.
Toriyama in the manga has forever hated on Vegeta and never gives that man his one every single time. For Christ's sakes, he wanted to kill off Vegeta, but the community was like, nah. So that he had to bring Vegeta back. So that's one thing. What's another character that got hold by the writers? I'm sorry, a character that got hold by the writers is that one cool dude from Fire Force, and that's another anime where fan service can ruin your anime because it's a lot of people that miss out on how good Fire Force is, but cannot watch it due to how much fan service is in there. You had a character that had a good backstory, good villainy, and all the
Oh
rest of
yeah,
the
it
other
was pretty
stuff, and
good.
he was fire. But you let him lose a battle because, oh no, her clothes came off.
Oh well, I didn't finish that, but oh, that was happening.
Crazy, crazy.
Cool, round two. I've surpassed. I've trained myself. It happens again. What was the point even including the character in here with all of that premise just for you to do that like
Yeah,
that?
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I would
I'm gonna
have to
say,
say.
and
Oh,
this is people may not feel like this.
you can go, Mike. Sorry, go.
Oh no, my bad. I was it was a slight delay. I'm gonna let you go, and I got mine. Go ahead and
I was just gonna say. I guess it would be if I think I'm remembering correctly with this, but it would have to be Bleach with the whole Aizen thing, where he didn't really, they didn't really defeat anybody. He ended up just leaving. And I was so upset because I'm like, what was all this fighting? It was like 80 episodes of us fighting, and we get to the underworld, and then we're doing all this, and he finally becomes one, or attempts to become one of the Zanpakuto, and it's all this stuff, and then he just ends up leaving into the clouds. That would be one where I was a little perturbed, but I mean, that's just
yeah.
me.
No, that's good. That's fair. They definitely should have stretched that one.
That's
Stretched it
all
a
I'm
little bit, a
saying.
little bit more. And you know to stay on Bleach. Actually, I have two characters that I kind of felt got old, and one was definitely Momoko during the
Mm.
Aizen thing. Now they always kind of hinted at Momoko being really good at the ketos. And so while she did do some high level ketos, I really wish they would have really showed how fast she was. Because they almost made her out to be a genius
Oh yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
keto.
Okay. Hmm.
Almost to where like how Aizen doesn't have to say the actual incantation, he just says the number.
Hmm.
If you get to a certain point, you just say the number. Like you would hear Byakuya saying like I don't know, number 89,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then
Hmm.
he'll do the spell. Um, it was actually said in the manga that Momoko sometimes didn't even have to say the actual hobble; she could just do it. And so it was just like I would have loved to see that. And then when we built up the head captain to be just like really cold,
Oh.
just really, I mean, untouchable being in the universe. And then in a Thousand Year Blood War, I mean, he goes against Yulbach,
Hmm.
and he gets done in by a simple trick. And I'm like, especially after he releases his Bankai, I'm like, come on, this man has the toughest Bankai in the entire universe.
Yeah,
And
they
you
did
tell me he got
whole
tricked like
Yamamoto.
Yeah.
that?
They did whole Yamamoto. I ain't even gonna
They,
lie.
I'm like,
They did
Yeah.
whole
oh my
Yamamoto. They did whole Yamamoto because boy, when Yamamoto let that fucking Bankai loose and shit turned white, I was like,
oh, ooh, I would, yeah, you in some trouble. Everybody around the cemetery table was like, why my lips dry? Hey, my throat dry as hell right now.
lips, throat, but it was worse than that, bro.
Like it was so bad. It was so bad. People's blood was drying immediately. Like blood that got spilled on the ground had evaporated. And you telling me a man with that type of spiritual pressure is done in by visual trick? He got done in by genjutsu? What? Nah, come on. Because every old man in everybody knows every old man in anime, just like in real life, ain't nothing to play with.
Right.
I like if you ever met an old black man in real life that really
Hmm.
just seen some shit and he just been around, you know not to fuck with him because he
Right.
ain't finna talk to you. He just gonna fuck you up, and that's gonna be it. You gonna
Right.
be on the ground praying to Jesus, and he gonna be gone by his day. And the same thing in anime. The
Yeah.
old dudes ain't nothing to play with, but they played the crap out of the heck out. I felt so bad about that.
Yeah.
But hey, what can you do? I'm not a writer, so
Exactly.
unfortunately. Um, so this is gonna be a really deep question, and I do want to know what y'all chat say about this question. So we definitely gonna let you all take go one by one and answer this one. But I'm gonna ask you: does anime need good animation to be great, or can the story alone carry the anime?
Oh, speaking of which, wife says hello, Big Mike. Um,
Hey, Whitney.
but to answer that question, no. And this is why I said that is because if you have a good, decent, now, granted, don't give me shitty animation. Let me go ahead and point it out like that because
Yeah, I was
if you're
gonna
giving me
say.
shitty, if you give me shitty animation but then have a good story, then that's very difficult. But it doesn't have to be super duper pristine or like to the T or like very very realistic, more so to speak, like how some people try to do. As long as you have a good little storytelling, like a good one that kind of falls into that category with me, even though the animation of that is fucking beautiful still. It's Freerun. Freerun is
Okay.
a great storytelling anime, and it's like I said, even though the animation in there is great, but how it well, I think since I done had a plethora of anime, it was a fresher breath air on how stuff was being told too. But if you have a good story and how you go about telling that story, because you can stretch a story too much to the point of where you can ruin your anime too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you have a decent story, people can manage with the animation. One anime that I can kind of give that credit to is Scissor Seven. Granted, it's funny here and there, but and it's kind of it looks cartoonish a little bit, like very cartoonish, but it has a great, excellent storyline on okay, how did this character really end up over here? And then when you're watching it, you learn over time, like, hey, okay, he actually got a real deep backstory to him. So,
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can piggyback off you and agree. Like, I mean, if a storyline, I can go with the storyline if the animation is good, but sometimes I don't know because oh man, one of my friends, her fiance, he looks at anime too, and we talk about like different things, and so he's always like, you gotta at least give it 3 to 4 episodes before you just cancel it out. Or before you're just like no, and so I've been trying my best because usually, to be honest with you, one or two. If you haven't hooked me with some, like I'm into action and gore, so I guess like sometimes I need the animation to reel me in first. Like if you're not
no,
getting
that's
me in
fair.
some way, I'm not thrilled. Only other anime that I can say that didn't do that was like Fairy Tale. I feel like they have a good storyline, but that's just me. You probably like that's just me, but they don't have a lot of. There's no big gore in that. Like I've watched almost every episode of that too. Well, not the most recent. No, not the. I haven't watched something, but I've watched the majority of those to where I thought that. But to me, that's nothing. Where I mean, the storyline to me is good, but that's just me.
Have you seen Eden Zero?
No,
It's basically fairy tale.
same thing. Let me put it on my
Same
list.
kid. Yeah, it's been. Spoilers. You legit see Lucy and Natsu in there, but they don't say it's Lucy and Natsu. But as
Oh,
you see it,
really?
you're
Okay.
like, this is
Eden
fairy
Zero.
tale,
Oh,
just
really?
told
Okay.
differently. It feels like fairy tale in space. That's just the
Okay.
best way to put it.
Okay.
It
Okay.
feels like fairy tale in space. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so that would be my one that I'd be like, it doesn't really have a lot of. I mean, it has the action, but it's really like you got to follow the story. To me, that's just my opinion of it. Like, it's nothing that you have to like. I had to really pay attention, like, but I really liked it. That was my thing, because it wasn't giving me like the whole. Well, another example that I really like Chainsaw Man. Like, I liked that anime like a lot, but I liked it because of also the gore and stuff in it too. But it had a good storyline, but the animation was good too. So.
True. That is true. So, a little bit of background. For me and Alito, we actually went to the same um, I don't want to say college. I'm gonna just say higher educational facility.
Okay.
Where
Don't don't you discredit all our fucking hard loans to those college niggas. We were struggling hard on them two flows. Don't you discredit it?
man, hey, look, I still got a wound in my pocket. Still got a hole in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Still got a hole there, man. But nah, shouts out to some of the professors from the art institute, man. For real, for real. But no, the animation has to be bearable. It can't be too trash.
Yeah.
Missing frames. You know, like
Yeah.
like how part of the screen was. The screen goes black in the midst of the anime, or there's a huge fallout
Yeah.
in action between one sequence to another. Um, that's one where I would be like, yeah, you know what, I'm not gonna watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that to me would definitely make me not watch an anime. Now the story, again, I watch some animes that are fan service clearly. I watch some
Mm-hmm.
animes that have a story, some that are super deep, some that are just face value. So the story itself can range on my feeling for the day. I don't have to always have a super deep anime to be a true anime lover. And then hey, it just depends on how you feel.
Yeah.
So let me ask y'all though, well, what anime adaptation of a manga do you think did the worst job?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This is probably horrible. I have never read a manga.
That's fair.
Okay.
No, that's fair.
I've watched the anime, but
No,
I've never,
no
but
judgment.
yeah, I was gonna be like, I know it's a safe space, right? So yeah, I have never read a manga, but I've heard from my nephew. He says that sometimes they're much better than even looking at the anime itself. So I won't be able to participate in this question, but I do want to read a manga.
Um,
Or,
if we're going off of that, for me, I want to say God of High School.
I never watched
Okay,
that, but I heard it was good.
that's fair.
God of High School
That's
because
fair.
that pacing for that show was very too quick. It was like every episode we got like five new characters, and it was just like, wait, we just got introduced to the other five. We didn't even fully see what they could do. Now you giving me five more new characters, like you know, like even like Record with Ragnarok kind of did it
Ooh, that
okay,
was good.
which I do feel like it
Never read the
stretched a little
manga.
bit, just a tad bit, but Records of Ragnarok
That was
did it.
good.
Introduces the characters of how they're supposed to. You give them at least two episodes so I can fully understand. Okay, this is the character. This that
Your
the third. Blah blah
powers.
blah. This your powers. Oh, okay. You do some fire shit like this, but hey, this nigga just so happens to be better. This is what you know. So um,
Speaking
that's
speaking on that, go ahead. My bad.
no, I was going to say that's the only one that I can think about off of my head that I feel like that had the worst. I know it's others, but I'm very picky and choosy about the manga that I read. So
That's real. I So speaking on that, and it's funny if you hadn't seen out of high school, about the situation about currently reintroducing characters one episode after another. RDC does a really good job of this during the anime house, where they talk about Shinji's adventures, and it's pretty much the same premise of how like the bigger characters can't even recognize who this character is because they don't know who the lead characters of the show. They don't even make a connection on who is who and how many people there are. So I thought that was really funny that you brought Guy to High School up. For me, this is going to shout out to all my shoujo lovers, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. As a youngin, I was a little freaked out. I'm gonna be real. So I'm gonna preface that before I get into this, just so you know. You know what I'm saying? But Love Hina was a huge letdown. If you ever read any of the Love Hina manga, um, you would expect a lot of like fan service and just a lot of like interesting situations, to say the least, to go on in the anime adaptation. The anime adaptation of Love Hina was a huge letdown, and it just was like, you know, okay. And I know why they did it. You know, we got different censorship laws over here and things like that. It just was a letdown because it's really about this kid who you know, who is going back to his family's hotel pretty much,
Mhm.
and you know I think it was not or his grandmother one runs the hotel, and his childhood friends there, and then all these different girls start to stay in this hotel with different, and they get into these very odd, sometimes embarrassing situations with each other,
Of
and they
course.
end up all kind of like fighting for his affection. And so it just becomes, yeah, it becomes this huge drop off, this huge letdown, and it's just like, oh man, y'all could have, it could just stayed in manga. This was
Yeah.
another one that while it didn't really have a actual like long run, it was also another one that was kind of like, this is kind of a letdown.
Mm.
Well, you could have did more. Why didn't
Yeah.
you? And then my last one would be Air Gear. Now I'm gonna talk about Air Gear a little bit later in this chat, but Air Gear only ran for 24 episodes. I'm gonna tell y'all I have a real problem with 24 episode run anime. Um, because why you gonna get my
Ooh.
feelings in it?
Yeah, I can agree with you on that
Y'all
one.
really be testing my patience for real. Gonna make me nut up.
Yeah,
Hey,
especially when it's
at least,
good.
at least it ain't gangster, and that's all I'm gonna say. We only
Yeah,
got 12 of that.
I,
We only got 12 of
yeah.
that, and that still hurts me to my day. Ooh, that hurts me to this day because it sucks because the creator died and he left no source material,
Oh, dang. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
no source material. So it's like,
Got
and how it ends is like, oh, okay, bet new
Do
episode.
it. Okay.
There's no new
That
episode.
sucks.
Yep. So that was those are mine. They're still great to check out if you want to read the manga. I would prefer that you read the manga. Now Air Gear, you can watch the anime. The anime was really good. They just didn't continue it. It was like this could have been really
Okay.
nice, really hot. It gives you like a jet set radio type of vibes with a mix of like street fighting. So
Oh, okay. I like
like
that.
how could you not like that? And
Added
then
it to my
so let's
anime
go into it.
list.
The, let's see. Ooh, so with this one we're moving on to more of the culture. So we're talking about the actual culture of being an anime fan, anime lover, otaku, waku, whatever you are, whatever you self-identify as.
I don't
We're gonna
even know
put
who I
this
identify
questions based
as.
off of that. So the the first one would be how has anime influenced your perspective on life and creativity?
Hmm. That's a good question. Um, I don't know about influence my life, but when it comes to creativity, I think, when looking at all the different animes that come up, looking how people are just, like, it makes you excited because, like, people are out there actually creating and doing different things, and like, you feel like, man, you know what, I should be creating too. So, to that point, I would think that, like, it would, it gives you a sense of, like, okay, what's next? Like, they are, like, when it comes to, like, animation and all that kind of stuff, I feel like in some ways they are like so ahead. So the creative part sometimes makes me feel like, gosh, you know what, I need to be doing more when, they're like putting out all this stuff even on YouTube where I'm just like, I don't even, this is not even on Crunchyroll at all. So how did, like, who even came up with this? So that's what I would say. I don't know about anything for my life, but like when it comes to the creativity part, I think like that, it brings a spark in a sense.
Okay. All right. I would say for me, um, if we start from the beginning, anime has kind of done a lot in my life as far as helping me shape to the heathen that I am today. Um, I mean, if I keep it honest, the anime has really had a lot of big influence in my life, along with gaming itself.
Mhm.
Um, but if we, as far as like motivation to do certain stuff, you have certain anime quotes, certain um certain things certain characters go through that might not have a one-on-one experience, but as far as a similarity of, damn, okay, I know how it feels to be in that particular situation, you know, and a lot of them have good motivational quotes. One of my favorite ones that I like to use to mess with my wife sometime is from Gurren Lagann, the "Believe in the me that believes in you."
Mm.
So that's basically a positive thing. Say, hey man, I believe in you, so you should believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, believe in the me that believes in you. You can do more to succeed.
That's deep.
Um, it a lot of different animes have like different little quotes. Of course, anime is partial of the reason why I wanted to start to get into my art career as far as drawing and stuff like that, and even going to art school. Of course, over time I did develop and create my own original character, which is also my stream mate, Scott Silver.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
she, yeah, I love that character. Um, but yeah, it makes me. I even have. I can't really say that because I don't. I can't expose that on stream. But I do have something in the works when it comes towards animation right now.
Oh, nice.
It has been on a real big standstill due to the main person that was helping me with this, Big Mike. You should know who I'm talking about. But of course, when that person passed away, the project kind of immediately went to a halt. So, yeah, when it comes to that, oh, appreciate the follow. Welcome to the Heathen Realm. Um, but when it comes to that, as far as anime wise and stuff like that, it has really played a big part of my life. I mean, for Christ's sakes, you can clearly see my wall.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
the when it comes towards me, I have a bunch of hentai panels all over the house.
The hentai.
As far as anime posters, like I got a JoJo poster. Like my wife
Oh,
loves
that's my
JoJo.
favorite. Oh,
Like my wife loves JoJo.
that's good.
We have JoJo everywhere. Yeah, I actually have my original character tattooed on me right here.
Oh, nice.
It plays a big part. I mean, this is my character Silver,
Oh, hey, girl.
but it plays a big part in my life.
Okay.
More so, it's very motivational. Even when it comes towards a lot of people, whenever you see people talk about going to the gym or anything like that, they even came up with the shirts, so training to beat Goku, or training to beat whoever, because of course Dragon Ball, and that's actually one big thing as far as the community, which a lot of people miss out on, which is another reason why Dragon Ball Z is so popular. You see them constantly working out, exercising, getting swole, this, that, and the third. Other people use that as motivation, like, yeah, Goku got swole like that, so I want to get swole like that. So
Yeah.
and then of course you do have other animes that go into it. Baki is another good one.
Oh
um
yeah, that was good.
so of course, some people have, used Baki. I think I came across one guy where he actually trained his body to actually look like Baki, and
Oh wow.
he even did the little anime Baki pose that he did within the show, or with the one hand and stuff like that. Like, it was pretty dope. So when it comes to what's the anime in the community, it's becoming more and more apparent
Yeah.
to where people are being open about it, and which, to kind of tag on a little bit with that, which I talk about this a lot within my Discord. One thing I do like is Megan Thee Stallion. A lot of people can say how they feel about her, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. What I love that Megan Thee Stallion has done for the anime community is saying, hey, you can be a baddie and still like anime. Because
Yeah.
it's a lot of women that I even know that didn't necessarily want to be open or openly say, hey, I like anime, due to people saying, oh, that's weird. You know, you still got people that still say that now, but you have Megan Thee Stallion that's like, I don't care what y'all think. I love anime. I'm a cosplay. I'm gonna do this, this, that, and the
Yeah.
third, blah, 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 which is giving more people more confidence to be like, you know what? If she can do it, I can do it too. So, and that's one thing that I do applaud that Megan Thee Stallion has actually done for the anime community is opened up more people of color, more so to speak, to be like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I actually like anime and it's okay. You know,
Right.
people might call me weird due to, unfortunately, there's some weird shit that happens in anime, but of course
Yeah.
that changes over time with more people getting to it and people being noticing. Oh, more people are noticing. Okay, maybe we got to cut down on some of the wildness, but you know, that's one thing that I always say all the time, though, which I appreciate with that. But yeah, that's pretty much how anime has influenced my life.
Right. And I mean, even for even to piggyback on that, because on me, how it helped me as a person was that I was bullied. I was not always this size. I was not always giant, and I was timid as a kid. And when I finally learned I got some hands about me, and I would watch DBZ and I would watch all these different characters defend people who couldn't defend themselves and really just never back down. That's why I ride for Goku all the time. I'm like, yeah, he was a terrible dad. I don't care about that attribute of him as a character, but one thing he would never let you do is bully somebody's mom. He would never let you just if stuff as kids, he would never let you just have your way with people because they couldn't defend them. And I think that was like a big thing, and that's one of the things that a lot of people taught from shonen protagonists growing up was like, hey, defend the person, try your best, go after your dreams, do the things that are important to you, and and take care of those around you. And that inspired me to learn how to draw, want to study animation, and then led me into one against the photography and now film. So it's all over my life. Led me to learn more about Japan as a country outside of anime when I was a kid.
Oh,
And
nice.
so yeah, I mean it's definitely influenced, you know, US culture and just me as a person as well. I think a lot of people don't give it the praise that they need to because, hey, they say, oh, it's a cartoon, it's this, that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it really definitely came through, did a lot for my life.
Oh.
That's why we ride for. What's one reoccurring theme in anime that you think reflects Japanese society the most?
What was the question one more time? I do apologize.
One.
Oh, the question was, what's one reoccurring theme in anime that you think reflects Japanese society the most?
Now, teenagers be wilding, but
That is
but
true.
but no, one trope that I see that they're trying to show people is that depending on some of the popular animes, that it's okay to have feelings and be emotional. Um,
Mm.
a lot of people, are kind of finicky about it, but I'm like, fuck y'all that feel some type of way about this anime because I love it. Windbreaker, of
Oh, I
course,
just saw that. Well, I haven't watched it, but I just saw that came out.
but of course, now they introduced the cross dressing character to it, and of course, what that character goes through. Spoiler alert for anybody who don't know. But what that character goes through is, of course, they go through a whole time period of where it it's a thought process that certain not even just boys, kids go through that in general. He's a boy, of course, he likes a bunch of girl stuff. The barrettes, he says it's pretty, the makeup, all that. He likes it. So of course he runs into a couple. Of course, the couple, uh, they're the very fashionable couple, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. Very pretty old woman. They cute little elderly couple, but they help him realize, hey, if you like this, that's what you like. Don't feel ashamed because he walked in on her, putting on makeup, and she looked pretty with the lipstick on, and then she was like, "Oh, you look pretty with the lipstick." And then, of course, when she left out, he was finna put the lipstick on, and then she walked back in, and then she was like, "Oh, it looks pretty on you." So, and then, he felt conflicted at that point because he was like, why do I feel happy with this on, this, then the third? Why can't I be a normal boy, this, then the third, like normal stuff that the normal boys like? That's shit that people actually think about sometimes that they don't actually converse or talk about within their rooms. You have people that say all the time, well, I might not like this like the regular boys like. I might like this. Am I weird for liking this? And that's what they was basically telling them. No, you're not weird for liking that. If you like that, that's what you like. And so, of course, over time, they embraced themselves, and of course, they got long hair, busting it down the strip club. But but outside of that, you see a character blossom into, hey, these people were there for me when I needed it. To as far as me finding myself, that was a moment that was letting them know, hey, regardless of what goes on in life, you can like what you like and not be weird.
Right.
It's okay that you like girly stuff, this, then the third,
Mm-hmm.
blah, blah, blah. That's okay. Because even the husband, when he walked in the room and saw him with the makeup, with the lipstick on, he was like, "Oh, that looks pretty on you."
Mm-hmm.
It's the encouragement. And then, you have some people that'll be, "Oh, you gay if you like windbreak." That has nothing to do with being gay. That's just
Your preference.
that. Yeah, that's just your preference.
Yeah.
I mean, you like what you like.
Exactly.
So.
That's great.
Yeah,
I love
that
all
was
these.
good. I guess for me would be I mean, I know in Asian culture they don't tend to be too emotional, but I feel like the sense of support, like I feel like always in animes you have that one person who's always uplifting, even if it's not everybody. You always have somebody who is there to, to push you, to motivate you, to let you know that, you can do it, even sometimes if they are like, even when I think about Demon Slayer, like, he's the one doing, fighting the hardest and all that kind of stuff. His friends sometimes slack off, but they're always there to be like, have his back. It's all I'm saying. And I feel like that in a lot of the animes I watch and animes in general, I mean, I guess I can say it's a sense of family, in a sense, but you always have people to support you, or people to motivate you, people to instill in you that you can do it. So I feel like that carries across, and even in the Asian culture, because I know one of my good friends who I work with, she's a nurse. She was like, her mom was very strict, but they always had a sense of family, even though they weren't very emotional. It wasn't always the I love yous and all that kind of stuff. But whenever I needed her or I needed my dad, they were there. So that's what I say. I feel like, it's always a sense of support and motivation, and somebody there letting you know that, kind of like what Drew said, believe in the me that believes in you. I like that. I think I said it wrong, but
no, you said it right.
Okay.
Believe in the me that believes in you.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. I feel like that's a going on theme.
No, that's great. That's amazing. So what anime push boundaries or challenge you intellectually or emotionally?
Emotionally, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. That To Your Eternity. That sad, depressing ass anime
Okay, I haven't seen that.
gets but it's a great story. On the story is amazing on how it tells the story. Um, Now, if we want to talk about a scene that really got me into my feels, like immediately bursted me to tears for my very first time watching anime, it was the scene from Gundam 00 when I think it's the end of first season. Yes, it's the closer to the end of the first season. There's a character named Lock-On Stratus. Um, Lyle, because they're twins. But I think Lyle is the one that passes away. Yeah, but it's how he dies that kind of got me, because you you learn him as a character. You see he's like the big brother of the ship, telling everybody, giving them good advice, letting them know like, hey, I done been through some stuff, but you got to learn to be this way. And of course, he has his own little habits here and there, but of course, he learned over time that hey, you can't be like this. And it's like right when he was finna get ready to get his revenge, of course, he didn't get a chance to get it, but of course, when everybody was looking for him, only thing you hear was the little Haro that was with him constantly saying his name over and over again, and that's all that you hear from the distance. And then even when you get close up to it, it like that. I don't know what it is about that scene. It just hits me every single time, and tears just start coming down my face, and I'm just like, oh, they didn't kill Akko. So yeah, I don't know what it is about that scene. And there's a couple other anime scenes that hit for me like that. None that I can think of off the top of my head like that, but the Gundam 001, I know that one is nailed in my brain. So it's hmm.
Ooh, I really don't have any off the top of my head that I can remember that made me emotional or had me think. Like I said, I'm into Asian dramas, so I could go through my list on Netflix of those that has brought me to tears. Where I'm just like, oh my gosh, you don't kill them. They can't. I can't believe they're gonna die. Like stuff like that. But when it comes to anime, I don't even have any that have for that question. I don't even know. I'd have to really think about it because I feel like I've seen some things
So
that have brought me to
my
tears,
two,
but
I think my two are definitely more along the more recognizable ones.
mm-hmm.
I've had various animes that touched me emotionally. None that really that didn't challenge me intellectually, but they did challenge social norm that I was used to seeing and kind of flipped it. So with Black Butler, for example,
Oh,
um,
okay.
seeing the fact that you have this young boy who is kind of almost playing like trans in a way, or well, he was a cross dresser, because he liked
Yeah.
his butler, and then there was another character with red hair that was also kind of like
Oh,
that
yeah, yeah,
that way.
yeah.
So it was like
Mm-hmm.
I
learning
love that character.
to
I love that character.
yeah yeah learning to be open, um, because you got to think about it, right? I'm from the South. I'm a hetero male. I don't really like the term cis, but I'm a hetero male. And even seeing him from Powerpuff Girls threw me off. First of all, he scared the shit out of me as a kid. And then to come to terms with like what that meant, what his character was. But that shit threw me off. I didn't really ever come to terms with that. And then when I watched Black Butler, you learn to one, okay, hey, everybody has their own thing that makes them unique. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
make them a bad person. They're not going to a bad place because of it. Um, and you have to kind of grow and learn from that. But the two scenes that really got me emotional, because I have siblings. One was, of course, from One Piece when Ace died at Marineford, getting punched through the back. That was, I mean, I love my little brother to death. As me and Halito know, like we'll do anything we need to for our siblings. And yeah, man, that one gangster shit every time, dog. Come on, like giving your life for your siblings' life is the highest honor and sacrifice you could ever do, whether in cartoons or real life. And so that one always gets me. And then when Edward Elric tries to first bring his mother back, because one, he's their kid.
From Full
They
Metal
lost their mother.
Alchemist. Oh,
The father was
yeah.
not there. Yeah, from Full Metal
That
Alchemist.
was good.
The dad wasn't around.
I forgot about that.
And you gotta think about the state they're in. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have anybody else except for their friend Renry and her family, who also she lost her parents too. They don't have anybody else, and so they just want their mom. And you think when you put yourself in that mindset, I'm talking about full on tears, because like who wouldn't miss their parents? But that one is like and I hate to bring that up, but Lito, virtual hugs, my brother, as always. But but yeah, that hits me. But
Yeah,
We're gonna move on to some lighter stuff. Um, Go ahead, my bad.
no, I was gonna be like, I definitely can understand the grief process. I lost my mom like 2 years ago now, so I get it. Where you just be like, so I totally understand what you're dealing with, Drew, like firsthand. But I was going to say this really quick to piggyback off of Mike. Hunter. His dad was there, but he didn't want him. That made me sad. You know, he had to go through all that just to try to find him, even though he was still gone, was going through all that, and Gene was still just like, yeah, do all this stuff to him. We'll see if you can find me. That was another one that kind of made me feel like, oh, that's so sad, but then it's so good because it's building up character. And then he had Killua with him, so, anyways, I just wanted to say that.
Leorio was that real friend.
He was.
Because Leorio was the one that was just like, hey, bro, I hear you gon' talk about you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just for you to act like this, yeah,
right.
nah. And he punched him in his shit, like,
yes.
yeah, nah. So yeah, that was Leorio was a real true friend.
He was.
Because Ging is a shitty father.
Man, isn't he? Oh, I just horrible.
He's worse than Goku, because at least Goku realized at some point that like his grandkids were important, so he cared about his grandchildren, making sure he was around. He actually at the end realized that, hey, I'm gonna do the things that Chi Chi was asking me to do, and that's when, of course, he has his last fight with Vegeta, who becomes a god of destruction. But that was like their final fight. Goku didn't have to go be with Chi Chi, but that was
Wasn't that like a fan fiction though?
Yeah, it was, but then they also kind of like they lightly touched on that's how there would be a really great ending to have to the series, but of course we won't know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say because yeah, that was a pretty dope little manga thing that they made mixed in with that. Yeah.
And then and again, we touched on this before, but this is one that everybody hears. Anytime you watch anime, or coming up, go watch anime. I've heard this from my mother a couple years ago before I moved from home, and she was just like, "Are you still gonna watch cartoons?"
They love to call it that.
Cartoon, this is cartoon conversation. This is for kids conversation. How do y'all feel about it? Because I talked about it at the beginning of the stream, but I'm gonna go back into it for everybody who just hopped on.
What are your thoughts? One thing that I respect is my mother never did that. Now my sperm donor, on the other hand, that's a different conversation. Because he literally, I'm not gonna get into that. But point being, most people that call anime cartoons hasn't really actually sat up and actually watched one. They're looking on the outside in because the only thing they see is cartoon. So of course, being on the cartoon, that's they just see animation, and it's like, oh, because a good example was when my in-law was here. Me and my wife was watching TV downstairs, and we were watching this funny little anime called I forgot the name of it, but it was some real deep drama that was going on. Sometimes I watch my little drama animes. Rental Girlfriend is one that's kind of pissing me off right now, but aside from that, I was talking about a bunch of drama and stuff that was going on, and then her auntie was like, "Wait, all of that happens in there?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "All this happens in this little cartoon?" I'm like, "Yeah." And the fact that she even said cartoon in the midst of it, I was just like, you're still proving the point of you just seeing it for what you're looking at. So as far as that goes, you don't actually know what's going on, because if you actually watched what was going on, you will realize, oh, this is not a cartoon.
For me, oh wait, I just lost my thought. Oh, so my dad, he sometimes will tease me about, oh, you're watching your cartoons, but I have gotten him to watch a few, well, not even a few, maybe some episodes of anime. I mean, he's still really not into it per se, but my mother, she if I wanted her to sit down and watch anything, she possibly would. She may fall asleep during it, but she would look enough. If I was interested in it, she would watch it no matter what. So yeah, my dad, he's the one who kind of teases me about that, but when I tell him about it or I show him a different anime and we watch an episode, he'll be like, oh, okay, that's interesting, but he's still not an anime type person, because he in his back of his mind, I know he's still saying it's cartoons. But I agree with Drew, like I feel like if you haven't watched something in its entirety or all the way through, you're gonna call it a cartoon. You're not gonna be able to appreciate it until you give it a chance. That's with anything, though. Before you actually just shut it down and just assume like, oh, because you're watching a kiddie show, and it's just like, no, they be having some real things going on in this kiddie show, like drama and as a teenager. So.
No, and first of all, I love y'all answer. It's true. I mean, I've heard the gambit of it all. My folks would never, ever sit down and watch anime. And and yeah, they never do it. They consider that to be cartoons. And so it's funny that even with, and I had this thought process a while back, even with American cartoons, every time you go back to rewatch cartoons as you got older, there was always something new that you could get from the show if you actually sat down and watched it. Now, a lot of people, because like I said, it's animated, they can't get past the animation. They believe that, hey, you know, animations are kids. That's how my parents were raised from the 50s and 60s. As kids, you do kid things when you're a kid, and you stop watching that stuff when you grow up. But if they really sat down and went back and rewatched Looney Tunes, rewatched, you know, anything, Pepe Le Pew, which I had thought about, I'm going to explain in a little bit, and really just rewatch some of those things, they wouldn't have the same thought process. Because I go back sometimes and I still get new things that I didn't catch as a kid. And the biggest thing is like, well, as kids, you only know what your level of wisdom is. So if you don't know nothing, to you it's just an innocent duck that gets his face shot off because the bunny spent the gun around. And that's funny, you know, but I would never show my kids anime. My nieces and nephews, they can't watch it. Not around me. They watch Pokemon, that's about it. But you can't watch anime. Like, you know, because when I go back and look at something like, bro, how did we get away with this? We shouldn't have been watching this. But it's like, but I'm glad I did, because it gave me a window into a different culture. But yeah, man, it's not stuff you would show.
Right.
Getting their heads blown off.
Oh, well, yeah, true.
Parents, you know, losing friends, getting uppercut. You know what I'm saying? Getting uppercut through roofs, getting beat with tables and stuff. Like, there's some stuff like, hey, man, you just don't, you don't want to show kids. So it's like, it's always
right.
funny when people say that. You're saying that, but you'll sit here and watch reality TV.
Oh, I know, and they do the most.
That's the most staged crap ever. Like, if you don't know that's fake.
Right.
Like, what are we doing?
Nah, man, you know they've invested their lives into it, man.
Right. I do have somebody who was in the chat, and I think they were talking about, I guess, animes that bring either, I know we were talking about either that you felt brought about the intellectual side or maybe emotions. And I had somebody named Kai Speed Clips, and they were just saying that they watched some romance animes, and they were just asking, like, what is romance anime? Isn't it when you confess your feelings to each other and become happy couples, and life goes on happily without any confession? How can it be romance? They said, I recently watched Rent a Girlfriend, and it got me a little bit concerned. Without any confession about their feelings to each other, how can it be romance? I am a little bit too disappointed in the recent romance anime. So they're disappointed in romance anime.
Look, Rental Girlfriend started out as okay, I can see where this is going to can y'all figure this shit out, because it's pissing me off.
Okay.
And I'm totally, because I cannot understand that with that. And
I've never watched it.
Rental Girlfriend is a bad example of the romance anime.
Okay.
So A better one is My Happy Marriage, which is a new one that just
Okay,
came out.
I've seen that on Netflix.
My Happy Marriage is a good one. Let's see. Matter of fact, what Crunchyroll that? Because I got some on my list. Um, let's see. My Happy Marriage. Let's see. Love After World Domination. That is the most cutest romance shit ever. Because Love After World Domination, that anime is basically if the Red Ranger fell in love with, like their little villain top, not the leader, but the underdog, like the underdog of it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's so cute. Like it's so cute at how they do it because they run into each other. The Red Ranger runs into her when she was away, and of course, when she was outside of her regular uniform, and of course, when he sees her one day when they're fighting, he's like, "Hey, I want to take you out on a date," and she's confused, and she's like, "Huh?" And he was like, "No, I think you're cute," and it branches off from there, and it's like every time that they're supposed to be fighting each other, they're out doing like a little date over here, just
really?
sitting there. So of course, when other people show up, they do that whole little pretend thing of no, we're actually fighting each other. But of course, some of the other quote unquote rangers find out about it, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I got you. I'll keep your secret, but for keepsakes, we'll make sure your cover is straight." So of course they'll be like, "Oh, we'll hold them off. Y'all have y'all little cute." So it becomes a little cute little date thing every single time they meet up and they fight because they're going on a date, but in actuality, they're supposed to be enemies. So it's a cute little one. Love After World Domination is a very cute one. Um, let's see, what's another one that's recently that I watched?
Yeah, I'm
Um,
putting it. I know they can hear. I put it in the chat too, just to let them know the options, better options, and put it like that.
let's see. Mm,
Yeah, I was just like, I don't watch a lot of romance anime.
I just go through a whole bunch, and then if it catches my attention, then I'm like, okay, cool, we're here. And then I'll find out later.
Okay.
I'll find out later on. Oh, this is this type of anime. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay, got you. Mhm.
So, all right. So moving along. And I'm gonna skip that question. Again, we're in the fandom and culture type of questionnaire. So what's the most intense anime fandom you've encountered, good or bad?
Intense.
Yeah, good or bad. So present or past tense.
Okay, so getting into the Gundam fandom, it was me getting into it more so as an adult, it was positive. Um, the overwhelming amount of people that's like, oh, y'all actually y'all oh y'all fans, okay. So but it was slightly overwhelming at first, but of course, if we want to talk about the ones that really get on my nerves, unfortunately, it's somewhat of the Dragon Ball fandom, but it's the Goku fanboys specifically. They get on my nerves because it's like power scaling is dumb because you want to say can't nobody beat Goku. Okay, there's plenty of characters that can beat Goku, but that's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that gets on my nerves is the My Hero fandom.
Oh, that's a good one. Mm.
Yeah.
I wasn't
The
even
My
a
Hero.
fan of that anime, to be honest. It was all right.
So the My Hero fandom is
First
another one that
series,
gets
or
on my
first season was
nerves.
good.
Um, some people of the One Piece fandom, because it's not all of them.
Mm.
But the only other, when it comes towards those specific fandoms, the My Hero one especially is the bad one for me because certain people went out of their way to threaten the creator because they didn't ship specific characters together that they wanted them to ship.
Really?
Yeah, I remember.
So what the creator do?
Is that
He
serious?
petty killed one of them off, and we're like, there you go.
Oh, I didn't know if it got that bad. Okay. Dang, I'm gonna just kill him
Mhm.
off.
So I was like, I
Okay.
bet dead.
Oh wow. Okay.
Nah, Elba definitely. It's funny. Our scaling is so funny when it comes to conversations. That's what I tell people when I'm on TikTok, especially. Make sure you follow me on TikTok. Everything's animated zero. Um, that I'll take a whimsical battle. That's what we used to do when we first started anime. It didn't matter who the character was. If you liked the character, we'd come up with a situation where they would meet and have this inevitable battle with each other, which was fun. And that kind of gave the fun to the community. But then when Power Scaler came in, people wanted to do extra. It got to be really annoying. So of course people were just like, yeah, because Goku's the most known character. Everybody's like, yeah, what can they beat Goku? Can they beat Goku? And it's like, come on, like we've seen these people blow up planets. Let's let's start there. That's the start. But I would say the funniest interaction of a fandom that I've had to meet were definitely my hero. Definitely my hero. I was gonna say the Sailor Moon group that tried to jump me that one time, but we're gonna say
Not Sailor
my
Moon.
hero because they think too highly of themselves. It's like yes, it was great. It started off really good, but then it just kind of
Yeah. Mm.
like so it's just like y'all don't have enough under your belt to just be the ego that y'all got. You
They
gotta calm
became
down.
Goku fanboys when they found
Calm
out
down.
about that when they confirmed that Sailor Moon can beat Goku. They immediately became the new Goku fanboys with Sailor Moon because the amount of people that go out of their way to, oh yeah, he can be. Didn't nobody even ask that, but okay.
Right.
Because I remember telling somebody mentioning just DBZ was on my favorite. Oh well, Sailor Moon. Yes, I know that. Any more information you want to
Yeah.
tell me? So
And it's funny because like when you really think about it, they had to make Sailor Moon powerful because she was
Hmm.
the lead shoujo character, just like Goku was the lead shonen character. And so it made sense that she would be a strong character. Did I give her her props when I was younger? No, of course not. I was
I used
into
to like
shonen
Sailor Moon.
manga. That's all I cared about. But when you really go back and look at it as an adult, yeah, she be stepping with the best of them. Even when she has all her powers. So
Yeah.
gotta give her respect.
I haven't watched
Um,
Sailor Moon in so long.
so which anime character do you? Oh yeah, definitely got to double back on that
Yeah.
one. Which anime character do you think has the most iconic design or style?
Iconic design or style? Hmm.
that's kind of unfair because that's that's the list.
Yeah, I got quite a
Um,
few.
let's see. If we're speaking on strictly anime, because I gotta learn how to separate the two right now. Um, if we're speaking on anime, one of my favorite character designs is Gilgamesh from the Fate series.
Ooh. Fates were good.
Um, what's his name? Arch is it Archer?
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the Archer guy. Hmm.
Yeah, Archer is another one.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. Kaiju number 8 is actually pretty good as far as the character
I
design.
still can't get into that. Oh, I'm trying.
I, I mean that's fair because it has a real slow build up, so
Yeah,
I'll give
it's
you
been
that.
slow.
Um, another one that's a favorite, of course. Well, it technically is an anime, so I can say that now. Fantasy Star, Fantasy Star Online 2, Luther. Um, it's also a game too, but they made it into an anime, which basically explained the story of Episode Oracle. They have two separate animes with that. Let me get sidetracked, but they got two separate animes. They got Fantasy Star the animation, and then they have Fantasy Star Online, Fantasy Star the animation episode Oracle. Episode Oracle more so focuses on the in-game story, on what happens. The animation basically ties into the actual game story, but pulls the quote unquote Sword Art Online tactic with it, with
Mm.
putting them into the game, but actually giving you the quote unquote Fantasy Star experience of actually playing Fantasy Star. Because a lot of key points that they pointed out, I was like, hey, I do that. But yeah, yeah, when it comes to that, that's another good design. Fairy Tail has some good designs.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Um, well, since it's an anime now, I like 2B's design from near don't near automata or automata, however tomatoes tomato, you know, when it comes to that. But that's actually another good one. When it comes to designs, more so to me, I always go to mech animes. So
Mm.
my favorite design will always be either God Gundam from G Gundam, um,
Okay.
and then of course Wing Zero, not Wing Zero, Wing 01 from Gundam Wing, the first one that he had,
Ooh.
not the second one.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and Gundam Double O, the Double O Gundam.
Okay. Yeah. I love. First of all, those last two are amazing. In the chat, D said Ninja Scroll, the greatest anime of all time,
Oh
followed by
yeah, that's good.
Naruto Star. Which hey, those are two solid, those are two solid animes, and I do like that design. For me, I'm gonna split it up. So I'm gonna talk about drip and just style, street style especially, and I'm gonna just talk about character design. So we talk about what I think has some of the best character design. It's definitely JoJo's Bizarre World.
Yes.
Interesting character design. Yes,
Hmm.
everybody's damn near tall in there, but I mean, come on, just the way that they build the characters, I like it. The costumes, I love, I love all of it. Everything about JoJo. And then, but the best drip in anime has to go to Bleach. Type Kubo could have been a fashion designer if he really
Yeah,
wanted
you're
to.
right. You're right on
And I
that
just
one.
like he just, mm. I'm talking about like, I mean, come on, just from season to season, the clothes that they put in the opening scene, the post
I'll
credits,
give
some
you
of the
that.
online art that he has for the character, just different. Just, just
Yeah.
I can tell he have a library of fashion books at home because yeah, he was coming with they definitely best dressed for
I would say. I mean, I like
what
the
about you?
look of the guy in Devil May Cry, with the ice white hair or blonde hair, and
Okay.
then I guess my other one would have to go back to Solo Leveling with his level up. Like I liked how, well, I mean, of course he was, he was weakling at first, and then after his level up, he just was like everybody wanted him. He had the sauce then, so like that would be my other one. And Bleach, and then to piggyback off of you guys, like Bleach and all that kind
Have
of
you
stuff.
all? Yeah, yeah. Have you ever cosplayed? And if not, why?
I've never cosplayed. I don't even have a reason why I haven't. I just haven't. And I mean, I probably could have the opportunity to, since in Atlanta they have that thing every Labor Day weekend or whatever with the anime and all that kind of stuff. I just never had just never did it. But not saying that I wouldn't do it. I just never have.
Well, I have got pictures all on my Instagram. So, me and my wife both cosplay.
Oh, nice.
I've actually, if we're actually getting technical into my very, very first cosplay, it was Gar from Naruto. Uh,
Okay.
I ended up buying the cosplay, and I remember I wore it to summer school one day,
Mm-hmm.
and only very few niggas was like, "You ain't slick. I know what you got on." But of course, over time, when I got money to actually do cosplays, my actual official going to a con cosplay was, of course, Ash Ketchum. And of course, my wife was Pikachu. Um, he was cute. And then, of course, after then, over time, I then got into more and more cosplays. Cosplaying is fun, um, especially when you do it for yourself. Like, granted, if you're doing it for attention, with that attention will come negative attention. So if just be mindful if that's where you're going with that, that's what's going to come with that. But when it comes to enjoying yourself, do it. Make sure you enjoy yourself. Find a cosplay if you are going to do it. Find a cosplay that you enjoy, that you would like to do, and just be yourself. That's the best thing that I can say when it comes to that, as far as cosplaying, because a lot of people have this whole distinct notion that you have to be accurate or you have to almost look like the character. Just no, you don't. You honestly do not, because as long as you are decent within your cosplay, somebody is going to notice you and want to possibly take a picture of you at some point if you do go to a convention with that cosplay. Or even if you do just post it on the internet, somebody is going to see that cosplay and be like, ooh. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, those are really great points. I personally have not cosplayed yet, as you can see. When I get rid of that, yeah, I'm definitely in there, and it's on the way, reloading up.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Excuses.
first person I would,
Excuses.
the first person I would cosplay is the Raigekage from Naruto. I already got the bald head. We're already there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that would definitely be the first cosplay that I put down. Because I mean, why not? You know what I'm saying? He was definitely always ready to throw them hands. If it was the black people, come on, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. So that would be my first one. Um, what anime? Oh, this one. I do want y'all to look in y'all chat. Now I got mine. I know y'all got some on top of y'all head, but what anime had the best soundtrack, and how did it elevate the story?
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Best soundtrack.
Well,
Okay.
no, we actually being technical. I want to say Bleach, and
Yeah. Okay.
specifically
Yeah.
the going
Yeah.
up into the expadas, because I don't
Hmm.
know what Spanish guitar they had cooking on that soundtrack. Cause good
Oh
lord,
yeah.
I got all of that on my phone, and every time my wife hears it, she's like, "Bro, what Spanish music do you have?" I'm like, "Bro, this is Bleach. That's Bleach."
Yeah.
But no. Another honorable mention, K King of Kings. That soundtrack, A1. Um, Now if we want to
Mm.
personally, if we're going into all time, for me, it will always be Samurai Champloo.
Oh, I started watching that and
Come on.
never
I
finished
was
it.
waiting on it. I was
Samurai
waiting
Champloo.
on it.
Samurai Champloo
I started watching
will
that, never
always be the
finished it.
number one. Samurai Champloo was the one that opened me up to Lofi hip hop, Lofi music, all of that. Like that's yeah.
Yeah.
I still got that whole sound. I bump that soundtrack on a daily basis with Samurai Champloo. I just got done playing the ending song not too long ago, pulling up to the house, bumping loud as hell. So I mean, yeah, that anime
Mm,
there.
Yeah. What about you,
mm,
AJ?
I don't know of any soundtracks, but I just sometimes I'll download a few songs, like the song from Attack on Titan. There, that song is really good. Then Solo Leveling has a song. Like I have it on my Spotify. I don't
Okay.
know the name of it. They have a really good song, and it's something else. I don't know. There was another anime that had like so I don't know soundtracks per se, but I do have certain songs that I put into like a little list that I have to like go
Okay.
and check to where I was like like I said I just downloaded the Solo Leveling one because I just finished that one. But definitely Attack on Titan. I have a few songs from there. I guess soundtrack if you want to call it that.
me, I got a list.
Mm.
'Cause, man, wow, we talk about soundtrack.
Let me
There's a
see.
hit, of course, Lito already tapped in on. I mean, you talk about one of the most iconic R.I.P. Nujabes. Um, Samurai Shampoo is definitely up there. Local hip hop. I mean, it's
Where's the
iconic. Um, Kubo's opening scene, Mia that I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like that opening credit and end credit. I mean, they was just cooking. They was cooking the whole anime just cooked. And then I have this is kind of a niche one, Beck the anime. If you like rock songs, if you like a good guitar solo and riff in your songs, I mean, come on, you can't go wrong with Beck. The opening song in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I mean, come on, man, that's just iconic. That was a good one. And then the Air Gear soundtrack was also fire as well. So those were honorable for me.
Oh, okay.
Soundtracks. Definitely check them out. Chat. If y'all got any soundtrack or opening scenes or closing scene credit songs that y'all like, let me
Yeah.
know. I know some of y'all was gonna say that Jodeci song that JoJo used that.
Oh my gosh.
in the
I had to
one
play that twice because I was like, are they really playing Jodeci? What is going on? I was like, what? I was like, okay. That's why I like JoJo right there. See? It was good.
But if we want to talk about ending songs, I basically just said mine. Um, yeah, it's Shika no Yuta from Samurai Champloo.
Oh, yeah.
That ending is forever on repeat for me. Um, Actually, since we're getting into anime endings, Life Lessons with Yorimichi Onisan. Funny ass anime. That song has a dope ass ending song with that because I was watching it and I heard the ending come on and I was like, hold on, why this shit slap? But it's called Dream On, I think. Is that
Dream
it?
On.
Hold on. Yeah, that's it. Um, that's what it's called. It's called Dream On by Mamoru. Yeah, I'm finna butcher that name, but yeah, it's called Dream On. It's a single by Mamoru,
Oh
and it
yeah,
should
okay.
finish it out from the rest. But yeah, that's another good one. Ending song with that one kind of sound nice, and I was like, okay. Um, what's another one? I've actually downloaded a couple songs from Freerun too. Um, that's another good one. Um, there's an anime called. Oh, what's the name of that anime? Hold on, because I can find out the song. If I can find the song, I can find out the anime.
There's another.
Yep, that's it. That's that fire.
I don't know which animes they are from. Oh yeah, Attack on Titan. I already said that. I already got those two.
I forgot the name of the anime, but the song is called Steel, and that intro has a good little nice little mix of rock to it with the way it comes in, and it sounds like it actually sounds dope. Damn, what's the name of that anime? I'll remember it in a second, but it's a pretty dope anime. With how
Yeah.
everything comes into play, like the girl didn't even get a chance to she got caught up with some thugs and stuff like that and didn't even get a chance to, so
Yeah, like
My boy D said, how do we like Ragnarok? And yes, JoJo does be rock.
yeah.
So how do we feel about Ragnarok, the anime, and
Oh,
the soundtrack in Ragnarok?
I never heard their soundtrack. I like the anime though. I've never listened to their soundtrack on the Ragnarok.
Hmm. But
You go
yes,
ahead.
no, I'm laughing at some shit my wife sent me. Um, but yeah, the one if K King of Kings, that one to me has a dope soundtrack. I don't know about the intro more so to say, but as far as like throughout the show individual characters, each character has like a at least a dope theme song within that show. The anime itself is a pretty good anime. Even though how it starts everywhere, and you kind of get confused and figure out what's going on like by like episode maybe four. But still, that is one underrated anime. One scene that they keep sharing from that anime is, of course, the one scene where the girl is on the ground, and of course her boobs are doing extra movement unnecessarily, and of course her shirt pops open a little bit, but it doesn't fully pop open, and it's like they put all the money in the animation, and I'm like, no, it's other fights in there that's fully greatly animated. It's just they did put a lot of animation there. But yeah.
So, so with this next question, if you got $1 million idea, don't share it on here. We don't want nobody stealing y'all ideas,
Yeah.
all right? But if you had to create your own anime, what would it be about?
Mm.
I can't disclose that information. um, if you really and truly, I will have an anime that basically shows um, more inclusive people. Different versions of different people that can be like, hey, I can relate to that person, and give us special powers. Because everybody like powers,
They do.
so unique abilities and stuff like that, and might throw a mech or two in there, and
There you go. What about you, AJ?
Oh, sorry, my background, but definitely somebody. I mean, I know it's probably.
What?
Oh, sorry. What happened?
No, don't worry about
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that. I know it. We've already talked about this. That everybody's storyline is basically about this, about somebody who was a weakling and then they became this great person. But I mean, I kind of like those storylines. People get motivated off of that. I mean, they like that. They like seeing somebody who came out from nothing or they got it out the mud. So it would definitely be something like that where they've overcome or they've been able to, endure and come out and be the better version of better version of themselves basically. So it would be something like that. And then it would have a lot of fight scenes, some gore in there, maybe a little romance. It would be a smorgasbord of stuff, but it would be good. It didn't be more than 24 episodes.
I'm sorry. I'm not. These said the anime police coming to take people to jail for hating on Dragon Ball Z.
Right. They probably are being like, you don't even know what it is. You hardly know what it is.
But for me, I don't have an anime in mind of my own creation I would want to create. But I have been reading Corey Kitch's Monsters We Make manga, and I would love to see him make an anime. I would love to see that world fleshed out in animation. It's beautiful writing. I think the way the team tells the story for Monsters We Make is amazing. So yeah, I would definitely love to see that.
Okay.
All right. Which anime deserves a reboot or continuation, and how should it be done?
A reboot? Oh, you know what I would say? Somebody mentioned it earlier. Ninja Scroll. I don't know. Nothing else has come out of that. I mean, I watched every episode of that. Like, I would love to see like a reboot or them do add on more. Revamp it or something like that. Because that was a really good anime. I liked that one.
What about you, Lito?
Give me my season 2 of the Gangster.
Okay, yeah.
I need my
Understood.
season 2 of
Yeah,
Gangster
definitely.
because the way that ended, it still upsets me. Um, Also, another one that I need my actual season 2 of. No Game No Life. Because aside the whole little premise or whatever the hell they had going on there with the lolly shit and the brother sister thing,
Mhm.
um, the premise of the anime was actually pretty dope, and the concept of it was actually pretty dope. And right when we got to the nitty gritty, y'all gave us a prequel, which is fine, but can we finish what we was on the original plan of that? Like, it's fine that we got that prequel. I understand what they were supposed to be. However, can we go back to, like, you gave us 2 seconds of that in the end of that prequel, which is fine, but still.
I would really love to see a really good, a better ending to Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. For those who don't
Oh yeah.
remember, the ending just came with them beating their the top person behind the door, which was this alchemist being that was a replication that was born from their father, pretty much. I think perfecting the philosopher's stone. I could be getting confused. It's been a minute since I've seen the anime, but Edward is
Yeah.
at that point not allowed to practice alchemy anymore, which I believe he would have gone into the birth of chemistry and science. So if you really know the actual history of alchemy, with their really lofty goal of transmuting lead into gold, which if they knew anything, they knew was impossible. Um, they that was the birth before chemistry. So before the actual like science and chemistry came about, there was alchemy. And so I would
Right.
have loved to see them play with that, play with what happened to the country after the war was over, where they go, because their brothers separated at that point. And so I kind of would love to see a little bit more of that. And then, of course, Air Gear. 24 episodes was not enough. We didn't get to see Ikaru get to the height of Ikaru. Um, and so I would love to see that world fleshed out a little bit more. I would love for another studio to pick it up and actually just continue and try to replicate the animation and keep the story going. That would be really dope. And so we're almost at the end of the stream here. We just got a couple more questions here. So I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming to hang out with us and to
Yes,
hear us
thank
yap about
you.
anime. Definitely going to try and keep something like this going, maybe bi-weekly, where we just hop on, we maybe watch a couple episodes of anime that people suggested, or just talk about anime and just have a good little hour where we yap. Make sure you guys are checking me out on the daily stream. Fortnite and COD, we going live again tomorrow. Trying to leave Fortnite lobbies with 20 kills or higher, so we're going crazy tomorrow. And yeah, make sure you check out Halito. He's got a lot of freaky things going over there on his channel, a lot of heathenry going over there, and a lot of good games. He plays a lot of wide variety of games. You guys need to tap in with him. AJ is supposed to start streaming soon, hint, hint,
Yeah.
and
Right.
he'll have a lot of stuff going on his channel as well. So please tap in with these wonderful people because they were cool enough to come hang out with me on a Tuesday to hear me talk and answer my stupid questions. So I appreciate y'all a lot, man. I really do. Moving on though, if you could make a genre mashup, so i.e. like sports and horror or lolly and samurai or something like that, what would be like your genre mashup that you would create?
To be fair, I would create one that includes sports, which is a mixture of football, American football, um, basketball, because of course we've gotten Blue Lock, amazing anime when it comes to soccer. But of course, I'll also add like a little power aspect to it, along with maybe a little samurai swordness fighting with that. Like, but the sport aspect will be like on a side thing, like things that they would do over towards the side. But it still will be included, like have major key points into it that might tie towards like the major key point, like this character might lose a particular game sports wise, but then they want to fight them in real life over here because they clan over here connected or they beefing over here at this point. So like a little mixture, a little
That
mix
sounds
like
dope.
that.
Yeah, that sounds good. I don't even know how to think about that. You can go, Mike. I have to think. Like, what would I do?
Okay. Just off the top of my head, I think I would
Probably.
love to do something with like the military and well, I would say like military and just and probably like middle schoolers. So almost like a kid next door, but more militarized. So like where the government tries to have a experiment where they would infiltrate countries, but as like middle schoolers, so they seem very unassuming. And it's a mixture between like the silliness of Full Metal Panic
Mm.
and like the use of like mechs and things like that and just military jargon. I think would be kind of interesting.
Okay. I guess mine would be like thriller, romance. Of course, a little bit of gore, some samurai fighting. Throw in there some. Dang, I just had to top my thriller, romance, a little bit of gore. Throw in there some samurai, and maybe like some mystery. It would be something like that to keep you intrigued. Like I also like the stuff that gives you like the mystery kind of stuff, kind of like the Apothecary Diary esque type, where it's like you're figuring something out, something like that.
Okay, like that, like that. All right, and then what would a perfect anime look like? So what key aspects would you need to have like a perfect anime?
I definitely need my action, definitely need my gore, definitely need my mystery. I guess thriller per se, and you can sprinkle in like a little bit of romance, and then sometimes I can do without. You know how, and I don't. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong and saying this incorrectly, but you know how when you're watching the anime, it's getting good. They have all these fight scenes, and then the next episode is something totally opposite of what you want to watch. It's like they're doing something weird. Like I would,
Filler episodes.
yes, the filler. I would remove the filler, like or make the filler a little more meaningful and not just them running around and acting goofy. That's just my opinion. Because sometimes I get so bothered because I want to go right into the next, and it's like I got 3 or 4 fillers, which I understand what they're trying to do, but yeah, the filler episodes, that would be in a perfect anime. Like none of that, no fillers. Keep it just going all the way.
Okay. So to actually tag on to an anime that I feel like is a perfect anime that falls into the gives you technically everything that you want, the Castlevania series.
Oh yeah.
That series
Okay.
alone, watching it from and even as an artist and slightly animated point of view, they put a motherfucking foot in that anime, especially Nocturne, especially Castlevania Nocturne,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yep.
you get great storytelling. I mean, granted, the Castlevania series is already has its own storyline, but you have great
Mm-hmm.
storytelling in it. You got romance in the beginning part because, of course, you got the first two, Trevor and old girl talking with each other, talking with her. Of course, they're dating, and then of course you have Alucard that comes into the play, and then of course
Mm-hmm.
with Alucard coming into play, then Alucard goes through his whole little emotional dating thing. But of course, it comes to find out that there are people that actually mess with him, this, that, and the third, and try to kill him. But then that's when he goes through that whole little okay. that really hurt. Like you see the emotion that goes through that, and then of course, fast forward to Nocturne to where it's a continuation of the regular one, but of course you have more of an open world now of hey, this is generational down the line. So it still has great storytelling. You got great, excellent action scenes and fight scenes
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Um, Animation, top
Mm-hmm.
tier. Voice acting, top tier.
Storyline is good.
Um,
Mm.
if you get in some backstory, it's canon towards what's happening within the story. Um, yeah, it that's what I feel like is perfectly all the way through. Castlevania, that's one of the animes that I feel like is one of those perfect top tier animes.
Yeah, I mean, I have to signal that we ride for Alucard, and because he got done dirty in that series, and yeah, his crash out was definitely valid.
Mm-hmm.
You seen the series, he definitely deserved that crash out.
Yeah, I'm still watching that.
Because I mean, I would have wanted to do the same thing. It's up, it was up for them folks. And so with the last one, if you could assemble an Avengers style team with with characters from different animes, who's on your team?
What's the limit? What's the
Well, Avengers, we're gonna go with the original. So
so four,
we're gonna say five people are.
five?
Well, you're Nick Fury in this instance, so you're not fighting. So you're just five people
I mean,
on
that's
your team.
fine. Okay, so based off of that information, I got Gilgamesh from the Fate series. I got Beerus.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
it's right there. It's right there. It's like, give me Old Man Yamamoto.
Mm.
Um, let's see. Because I was just looking at the anime. Um, I don't know if y'all watch the wrong way to use healing magic, but give me the teacher that's in there because she is broken as a healer user as a healing user, and how she uses her healing abilities is pretty broken. Like, who thinks to punch you so hard to heal you so hard that you pass out? um, and give me Ash from Fantasy Star Online episode 2. Fantasy Star Online 2, episode Oracle.
Okay. No, that's lit. A little bit. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna choose a lot of crash outs. Just because hey, look, I love the
Not a lot
crash
of
outs.
crash outs.
I just so it's definitely gonna be a lot of crash outs on my list. So I'm going Hiei for number one. I'm going Aokiji from One Piece. I'm going Kenpachi from Bleach. We're gonna do. I need somebody level-headed, so I'm probably gonna end up going with either. You know, I'm gonna stick Crash Out. I'm gonna go with Gone from when he fought the cat in Hunter x Hunter, and then for my last one, ooh, I think we'll go. I'll probably go not.
Okay. I'm trying to think of a fifth one, but your guys are
I
probably
got
going to be like, of course you're going to choose this guy. So I'm going to go with Tanjiro from Demon Slayer because it's one of my favorite animes, and that's just what it is. I'm going to go with I don't know the guy's name from Shield Hero. I love him. Of course, I'm going to throw in solo leveling because he's leveled up amazingly, and I can use everything that he's built up now. And then because he's crazy, Chainsaw Man, I don't know his name, him. like a little crazy. You need somebody on your team that's just gonna go wild anytime. Shinji, yes, him. And then I was thinking, oh gosh, the guy from Jujutsu Kaisen, the one with the eyes, who can, I don't forget his name.
Sukuna.
Yes, him. That would be my other person.
That's what's it. Out of all three of those teams, I have no idea who would win, but I would almost have to give it towards Toledo's team just because Gilgamesh
Yeah,
is,
yeah, I agree with you on that.
he's OP. He's one of those characters that it's hard to find somebody to go up against him. I just have people that won't stop, and that's kind of like where I like my team. They just not gonna stop. I mean, if they can still move
Yeah,
with one leg, they're gonna make it. They're gonna make it happen. So
yeah.
that's what I'm rolling with. But hey, I know I've kept you all on for a good minute. I see it in your eyes. Thank y'all so much for coming and hang out and chat with me. Make sure, like I said, chat. Everybody follow them. They're tagged on their screens right now. So go ahead, make sure you follow them, give them a follow, say what's up, and yeah, I'll catch you all tomorrow for a Fortnite stream. And I will see y'all next time. Peace.
All right, thank you.
No problem. No problem.